Blessed to all you CS fans out there, it's your boy Hawker, and I'm back with another video, this time taking a look at some of arT's CT-sided Vertigo play. Firstly, I just want to give a massive thanks to everyone who's checked out the channel recently. I honestly can't believe some of these numbers I'm seeing, so shout out to all you guys, I'm so grateful. And secondly, I know a lot of you guys came from the video I made on arT's aggression, but that video only really focused on the T side, so I figured why not show some CT-sided aggression from arT. I decided to specifically look at Vertigo because firstly, once again, arT is by far and away the player who attempts the entry most often on the CT side of this map. And secondly, Vertigo is one of Furia's most played maps, probably partly because there are so many options for aggression. So let's not waste any more time, let's jump on it. We're going to start with arT's most common CT position, which is normally around this A side of the map. In this first gun round, he calls for the deep ramp smoke as well as a flash to help him out, and then shows good awareness to be ready for a player boosted up on top of this box before getting away safely. A fairly standard play, especially by arT standards, but I figured I'd ease you into this one before showing some more craziness. In the very next round, arT tries some similar aggression, but apparently the 100 Thieves have been stealing flashbangs, because there are so many flashes that land in arT's face, so he has to back away. He puts this smoke down as he retreats though, which gives the Aussies something to think about in terms of potential ramp aggression, and might help take away some of the attention from Yuri, who's playing sandbags. Then as he falls back towards the wall, I love the idea behind this flashbang of trying to throw some misdirection at his opponents, try and get them to focus on the ramp or the sandbags instead of the boost. Unfortunately though, the Thieves don't fall for it, they've got too many players here and he gets forced away from the boost. A bunch of cool ideas here though, even if none of them work out. Skipping ahead to round 10, Furia decide to throw in this boost instantly with the boosting players not really using nades and Henny smoking the ramp. This is a nice mix-up to throw in every now and then because firstly, you only need 2 players on the A side of the map so you can get active elsewhere. And secondly, the 2 players on this boost don't have to use any nades, so the longer they can just sit here, the longer the round goes on, and the later in the round they could have nades, which could be really useful. And once they get spotted on this boost, arT does use his nades quickly to deny the aggression, and as the round timer ticks down, Furia still have nades, still have smokes left, which they end up using effectively. arT sits behind this smoke which Furia put down to line up a nice double kill and help them win the round. I figured at this point you guys were probably waiting for some of the wild stuff that arT gets up to, so let's go ahead and show you what you've been waiting for. In this one, arT switches things up by picking up the AWP for his team and just dry peeking mid. And by clearing all these angles, he's able to confidently push in for this flank, show his confidence by landing this close quarters AWP shot, and get away safely with his life, with the man advantage, and still with a full set of nades. arT then rotates over to the B site to be the anchor with this full set of utility, and these nades end up making all the difference, especially because 100 Thieves have probably seen Furia use some CT utility early from the actual B players, so they're likely not expecting arT to have these nades here, and he puts down the molly, he puts down the nade, and then the smoke is the real difference maker. It gives him that bit of breathing room to be able to reposition, and in close quarters AWP battles, arT is just so consistently good. He just nails these all day, every day. 2 rounds later, arT is back at it again with the mid aggression, taking this early fight, landing a great shot up close, and then rotating over to the A site and landing another fantastic shot at fairly close range. Just think about how dynamic arT has been throughout this half. He's had rounds over at A, he's had rounds where he's peaked mid, he's had a round where he even played on the B site. He's been all over the map, and it makes it so hard for your opponents to read you. Hell, even in the rounds where you don't see arT, he can still be having impact. This is a fairly common play for the AWP to peek into the ramp, but just look at the mini-map. With all the information arT's been able to gather here, his teammates can fully stack mid and B, and Furia should be in great shape to win this round, just thanks to arT peeking aggressively and not even spotting anyone. And just to clear this up before someone comments this, obviously, I'm not saying that arT always plays like this, or even that arT's aggressive plays are always successful. There was this round where he got spammed through the smoke and went down early. And there were quite a few rounds where he played pretty standardly and pretty safe against low buys, where he just got normal kills that you'd see from regular players. But there was still a lot of great things he did with his aggression throughout this half that I think are worth talking about. Let's switch over to a CT half where Furia played against EG, and if you're an NA team out there, I'm gonna give you this tip for free. If you're against Furia and they're on a low buy, never come into the ladder room because it's fairly likely arT's gonna be here sending his teammates to push up mid, and once the panic starts to set in, he can get these Zeus kills on the top of the ladder surprisingly often, which is always fun to watch out for. In the first gun round of this one, arT starts with his standard play of going towards A, but as soon as he hears all this noise and these nades elsewhere, look at how fast he is to rotate. He doesn't bother clearing the ramp, he makes sure to rotate over to mid quickly, and EG clearly aren't that prepared for this. He gets both of these kills, and the second player even had a smoke in his hand, so just wasn't ready for arT to be here this quickly and to be this fast on the rotate. And then on this B-sided retake, arT continues to be a nuisance for EG. When you're stuck on this B site, it's really difficult to play the post plant, there's not much cover, and arT's aware of that. He just gets up in their faces, and they end up winning with some nice trades. EG are one of the teams who seem to have the most success against Furia though, and I think this comes back to their game planning. arT's most frequent aggression on the CT side is on the A side of the map, and once we started to get into the gun rounds, EG showed that they were aware of some of these plays that arT runs. Taric here just holds this angle to get an easy kill. There's this round where arT tries to go for his short push, which is another play he loves to run, but Ethan is just in position, ready and waiting for him to push this smoke. And there was a round where arT pushed all the way down the ramp, which is another play he likes to throw in every now and then. And you could see that this would work against some lesser prepared teams if he got a fight instantly, but EG were just sitting back in good spots to be ready for this push. So definitely more of a mixed bag here for arT against EG, but there were instances where some of those previous plays worked for arT. Here's that short aggression I was talking about earlier, where arT seems really good at just winning this fight way more often than I feel like he should, but clearly he's got the crosshair placement and the reaction times to push these smokes and win this battle. And again, once or twice per half, he likes to throw in this boost. He doesn't want to use it too often so that it becomes too predictable. And in this one, EG end up being fully focused on the ramp itself, especially after they hear the AWP shot rattle off from Henny, and that's all arT needs to have this small window of opportunity to line up a quick-fire double. Towards the end of this game, arT finally had the money to bust out that second AWP, and rather than going for some of the mid-aggression we've seen previously, he decides to instantly push B in some of these rounds. I think this is arT adapting to the current meta on Vertigo, because a lot of teams in their default setups on the T side will put 3 players towards A ramp to try and take control, 1 guy will hold mid, and then there'll just be 1 guy holding B. So arT is happy to just straight up try and take an AWP fight if there's going to be that 1 man there. Even when there are multiple players close by, arT is more than happy to play up close around smokes, and in this round, he actually misses 2 AWP shots and is still able to get a kill. He's really good at repositioning on these tight angles and making sure he has every chance in these close quarters fights. Although again, I do have to point out, one of the things EG were really good at in this game is quickly adapting to what arT was doing, and just by throwing this 1 flashbang in the very next round, they completely counter arT's aggression. So great job to EG to adapting to this one. The final demo I'm going to show you comes against Liquid, and while in the last 2 games, arT was mostly playing on the A side of the map with some rounds sprinkled in where he'd play elsewhere, this one was a completely different story, a complete switch up, and arT mostly played the B side of the map in this one. As early as the second round, he's pushing his opponents, he's trying to take away this B side of the map from them. So much so that in this third round, I'm fairly certain that arT is specifically saving and not buying a gun here to make sure he can afford the AWP in the next round. You're about to see why I think that's the case, because in this first gun round, arT gets run boosted down into the B stairs, and even though it doesn't work against Liquid here, again, I think a lot of teams play a pretty passive default towards B, where I think arT would have actually been able to take a decent fight. You'll get to see some similar aggression in the next round, where again he's got the AWP, and again he's able to push through B, clear it out, and help his teammates stack the right site. And just think about this from Liquid's POV. They've probably prepped their early game plan around art playing on that A side of the map. So now that he's pushing B, that's going to completely throw your preparation off and force you to adapt in game, which is never easy. Speaking of the round itself, it's another one where art's not able to get the kill, but this is definitely a high percentage fight against Twists, which he would win the majority of the time. I'm going to continue to show some of the clips against Liquid in the background, and you'll see that art didn't even really have a good game individually. I don't think he was that on point individually in this half, but he still ended up finishing 14 for 9, and I'm sure he threw a wrench into Liquid's plans, whatever they were coming into this map, that they probably knew Furia would pick. For me, the main thing I love about this aggression is normally if you hear of a player just constantly pushing on the CT side, you kind of assume they're going to be pushing the same spot, they're going to be fairly predictable, and that the tactical teams or the well-prepared teams are just going to be able to counter them. But I think art here has shown that because his teammates are willing to switch up their spots, and because he is so dynamic on Vertigo with its infinite options for close quarters combat and close range aggression, he's able to make it really difficult for those Astralises of the world to do their homework on him. And this is the kind of trick that you can have up your sleeve in a really important game. You can all of a sudden just switch up your CT spot completely, and that can throw everything into disarray. It can create even more chaos in the server, and we all know chaos is a ladder, and Furia seem to thrive in it. They always seem to climb their way to the top in these chaotic situations. Anyway, that is going to be me done for this video. I think a lot of cool stuff to break down here and just a lot of really fun stuff to watch. I really love how art strikes that balance of having cool things to talk about and having method to the madness, while also just being able to witness some truly awesome rounds. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will catch you next time.